Venezuelan opposition leader and political prisoner in Venezuela for 6 years, Leopoldo Lopez joins me. Nice to see you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the United States.
Thank you.
All right, you have quite a story. You're in the opposition, and how much time did you spend in prison?
It was 7 years altogether.
And why did you go? What was the reason to put you in prison?
Well, in the year 2014, we called for protests against Maduro. He had stole the election in the year 2013. And alongside with Maria Corina Machado and a couple of other people, I led the protests against Maduro to produce a free and fair election in Venezuela. Tens of thousands of people came out to the streets, and many of us went to prison. I was sent into solitary confinement, where I stayed in solitary confinement for 4 years, then house arrest, then back to solitary confinement. Then I was able to escape and stayed for a year and a half at the Spanish embassy. And finally, I decided to escape. I never wanted to do that, but since 2021, I've been in exile.
You know, it's mind-boggling listening to your story. I mean, I read about before, I mean, like 4 years, I mean, the whole thing is just mind-boggling. 4 years in solitary confinement. I mean, it's just like, you know, you listen, it's almost unreal.
Yeah, more time than I spent in the university, yes.
It's
a lot of time. And I can tell you that that is happening today. Today, there are almost 1,000 political prisoners in Venezuela that some of them are in solitary confinement. Many of them are being subject to horrendous tortures. Many of my friends are in prison now. Many of the people that have this idea that is an enemy in Venezuela to have democracy, freedom, human rights in our country is reason enough to go to prison.
Okay, Delcy Rodriguez, who's the interim, I don't know if she's going to last or not. Is she going to last?
Well, I hope not. I hope that we can transition to a full democracy in the shortest time possible. That's what we hope, not what I hope, what a huge majority of the Venezuelan people hope. We had an election in 2024. Maria Corina Machado was not able to run, so Edmundo Gonzalez was the candidate. He was an unknown diplomat until 3 months before the election, and he won with 70% of the vote, with all of the obstacles in front of the democratic movement. So the Venezuelan people want democracy, the Venezuelan people want change, and we recognize that we are now in a much better position than what we were 10 days ago. We need to be very clear about that. The removal of Maduro, the capture of Maduro to face justice is justice in itself. I was sentenced to 14 years of imprisonment because 12 years ago I called Maduro a drug lord. And Venezuelans, we know that Maduro is the kingpin, is the head of a criminal structure that has destroyed our country and that has enriched the power elite. And Delcy Rodriguez is for sure part of that same infrastructure.
You know, people in Washington, I mean, I can go to the White House right now and stand outside and say the worst ugly things about the president, the worst ugly things you could think of, and I'm not going to jail. I have a First Amendment right. I can say just terrible things.
Well, in the case of Venezuela, only if you have a message in your cell phone and you are stopped in a checkpoint, and this is happening today. This happened this week after the removal of Maduro. People are sent to prison. The interim dictator, Delcy Rodriguez, has been promising the release of political prisoners, but it's not happening.
Well, you know how I know that? I do WhatsApp with a few people in Venezuela, and someone was, once this happened, the military strike, one of the people was leaving for Colombia and said that, you know, he's going to erase everything about me on his phone, because if the military stopped him and I was on his phone, he would be arrested.
Oh, absolutely. There you go. It's what I'm telling you. So people cannot go to the streets with their phones. X has been banned in Venezuela. WhatsApp has been weaponized. So there is absolute censorship. What we are doing right now, you cannot do in Venezuela.
What do you want from the U.S.?
What do we want from the U.S.?
What can this president do for you now?
Well, first of all, we thank the commitment, the resolute to remove Maduro from power. And we Venezuelans support that. And January the 3rd was a happy day for us because Maduro was removed. However, it's not the full transition to what we hope. What do we hope? We hope democracy. We hope to live in a society where there is rule of law, respect for human rights, the basic freedoms, where people can decide through free and fair elections our destiny. So we understand very clearly that a transition has begun 10 days ago. But the transition, as the word states, is a transition to something else. And that something else that we need to push for is full democracy.
I think his wife is rotten to the core.
Whose wife?
Maduro's.
Well, they are.
When you read about her, she was up to her eyeballs in everything as well.
Well, they were part of a criminal structure where her family was part of all of the economic elite of the kleptocratic system, with very tight links to Iran, to Russia, to China, to Belarus, and to many other countries. So they are part of this.
One quick question. Hezbollah there?
Yes, Hezbollah has been in Venezuela for years. It has been reported for years, not in the way that people would think that there is a camp of Hezbollah with the people with the AK-47s and their heads covered. Hezbollah has been in Venezuela for years as a station to do money laundering. Venezuela has become the criminal hub of a global kleptocratic infrastructure. The drug lords from Colombia, from Mexico, Hezbollah, and many other criminal organizations have presence in Venezuela. So that has to be a priority, to get all of those interests out of Venezuela, which means to take them out of the American continent and to have a continent that is fully free, fully democratic, and that's what's begun after January the 3rd.
Venezuelan opposition leader Leopoldo Lopez, thank you very much.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.